Greetings, everyone. Here we are with Blackmoor, which is Supplement 2 for original Dungeons & Dragons, additional material for Dungeons & Dragons rules for fantastic medieval war games, campaigns playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures. Oh my god, that is one hell of a round sentence. We have Castle Blackmoor here. Supplement 2, Blackmoor by Dave Arneson. Rules by TSR Hobbies. There is no price, which is kind of weird, as other ones have price included on them. So there we go. TSR Rules published. We have a blank page inside, no artwork here. Oftentimes there will be artwork on these inner pages of these supplements, but there isn't in this one. We have a dedication to Hugh Cartnell. Special thanks to Gary Gygax, Tim Kask, Rob Coons, Steve Marsh for suggestions and ideas. Illustrations by Dave Sutherland, Mike Bell, Tracy Lish, edited by Tim Kask. This is actually a 204 here. 1975 TSR Games, 9th printing, November 1979, printed in the USA. So this is a 9th printing. We have a nice little forward from Gary Gygax here. Next page is the index. Yet again, same format as the original 3 books, as well as Greyhawk. You have Men and Magic section, Monsters and Treasure section, and Underworld and Wilderness Adventure section. We also happen to notice that there's a new section in here under Underworld and Wilderness, such as diseases, which is interesting itself, plus an adventure, Temple of the Frog. So here we go. This is the beginning of Men in Magic. Characters, addition. You have new classes such as the Monk and Assassin, a subclass of Thief. Some updates for the Clerics. And then other important details going on from here for the Monks. Continuing on. Saving throw updates here. Followers of the Monk. You have Thieves section with a denotation for the Assassin, and Magic Assassins function as thieves in all regards with respect to magic except for weaponry. Disguise information, languages, poison in relationship to thieves and assassins. Cost, experience, guild master. You have the level table for the Monk, how much experience they require, as well as the level table for the Thief, their ranks and experience required. You have more information on monks down here. And continuing on, as well as a bit more information on assassins. You have a nice little piece of artwork right here. You have statistics regarding classes for the new classes such as a monk, type of die, monk, and assassin. Maximum number 16 and 13. 1 die per level. Other statistics regarding classes. So you have your new information right here for the monk, your movement, armor class score, attack melee range, open hand damage, and then you have your ranks in here for your assassin right here. And then you continue over here for hit location during melee. So you have a hit location system for attacking in various enemies at various parts of the body with chances to hit and what sides. Humanoid section, damage allocation table, flyer or avian table, reptile table, insectoid table, and fish table, as well as a snake table. And then we have a new defender weapon height adjustment material. So this actually allows you to determine what area in which the conversion, if your character is really short, what kind of AC adjustment you have, how hard it is to the enemy to hit you, or if you're really tall, how hard, if the enemy is really short or really tall compared to you, it adjusts here. Automatic hit, consult hit location, W is for A is for automatic hit, N is normal, W is wound. We have number information here explaining what each one does. Weapon length effect on combat. Apparently, from what I know of stories and what I can see here, Dave Arneson was a bit of a simulationist with his play. You have various monsters, number of attacks for those monsters, and damage per attack for those monsters, plus modifiers for special conditions on that. You got the beginning of the monster treasure section, which you have mermen, giant crabs, giant octopus, giant squid, giant crocodiles, giant toad, giant frog, giant leech, giant beaver, giant otter, giant wasp, giant beetle, fire lizard, minotaur lizard, esmosaur, melasmosaur, plasmosaur, giant shark, whale, giant eel, lamprey, seahorse, port mao, dolphins, aquatic elves, purgyway ray, manta ray, water spiders, weed eels, sanguine, eyes, exithia, locatha, Morkroth, and Masher. Apparently, Dave Arneson favored the giant critter feel, and more creatures that were natural in world, with an exception of a few things like mermen and a few others. Like here, you got information for your merman description here, and hellhounds. By the way, you got giant crab information. Giant octopus, giant squid, giant crocodile, giant toads, giant frog, giant leeches, giant beaver, giant otter. You got an umber hulk here. Giant wasps, giant beetles, some modifications for various types of beetles. So if you want a giant stag beetle, rhinoceros beetle, bombardier beetle, fire beetle, or boring beetle, you got some modifications here. A giant stag, rhinoceros beetle information, bombardier, fire beetle, and boring beetle. You got fire lizards, elasmosaurs, giant snakes, giant eels, seahorses, Portuguese man of wars, dolphins, aquatic elves, pungy ray, manta ray, giant sea spider, weed eels, sanguine devil man of the deep. That's probably what he is. Sounds like a movie, Devil Man of the Deep. That's probably where he got it from. Some more fun information on aquatic creatures. I do believe the sanguine. Yep. Specifically more sanguine information. All the way up to here. Floating eyes. Exaltio. Lacratha. Merkrath or Morlocks. Poisonous coral, strangler, strangleweed. Examples, lycanthrope information. You got new information for various slimes and other their enemies. New magic items and treasure. Ring of freedom, ring of movement, clear water potion, manta ray cloak, necklace of water breathing, trident of fish control, Aquaman, net of snaring, pearls, pink pearls, black pearls, gold pearl, red pearl, silver pearl, helm of the water, underwater vision. We have a harpy here, and some more artwork. You got the first image of a mind flyer here, as well as a roper. We have the first adventure that was published in a supplement that's not Dragon Magazine or Strategic Review or Tactical Review from TSR. Well, you have the Temple of the Frog God. This is actually kind of neat. I might actually want to convert this to 5th edition or 2024 and have my players run it through. And this might actually be fun for John because he likes frogs. Quick, clear information on the temple. Overall flow. You got the layout of the temple itself. More information. Important character. More information. More information. The ranking of the order here. More maps of the temple. And then we have a map underground of the temple with multiple little sections going in, up, down, ladders, and so forth, or staircases. Key information about various rooms and different levels of this temple going under. First level of dungeon. This is the first level of the dungeon under the temple. We have... We have next set of rooms, room 4, room 6, and so forth. And what kind of treasure you can find in each room as you go along. Next set of images. By the way, this is actually a little too busy. I guess Dave Arneson, this is all entirely new. Dungeons and Dragons as a concept when this was produced. So they probably didn't know that it's not a good idea to be super busy with your maps because it's really easy to visually lose track of quarters. But there's apparently, this is a quarter right here. And you can diagonal off. There's a lot of diagonal movement in this dungeon across grid. So unlike modern Dungeons and Dragons, where you measure by squares, or each square being 5 feet, in original Dungeons and Dragons, you measure by wargame standards by inches. So you have a character that has movement of 6 inches. So diagonal movement is not a serious issue in classic Dungeons and Dragons, as you just simply have your character at one location and you measure how many inches you want to travel, and you move that distance. You have a nice little piece of information here. You got another sanguine waiting around the corner of the party. You got underwater adventures information, such as setup, effects of water, tridents, setting up the terrain, seagrass, medium seaweed, fantastic terrain types listing out here, as well as underwater encounter matrix for various monsters that your party might run into, such as sailing encounter matrix. Information for sages, living things, supernatural things, and physical. Continuing on here, a bunch more information. Dice roll results for the sages, and so forth. Oops. I think I skipped a page or two. Yep. So we basically have this here. And then we have next section right here, which is the section on diseases. These are all different. The gripper disease, bubonic plague, dysentery, cholera, malaria, smallpox, tuberculosis, typhus, typhoid, yellow fever, advanced leprosy, crude, spotted fever, and so forth. And here's a table of chances. environment, season, catch rate, days, incubation, duration of days, recovery weeks, and fatal percentage down here. So you got all your essential information as well as your table for your various diseases, as well as a key for various modifications. And then we continue on to here into the final section with final details. And then we have, we finish off with a nice piece of artwork of a chimera. And then we turn up the page. And they were very nice to include sections for notes. However, this is because there's probably an odd number of pages here. And these would have been completely blank as a number of signatures or groupings of pages would have resulted in having a bunch of blank pages. So simply having a line down the center and notes written on top up is a good idea. And we have other products from TSR around this time. For here, you got Monster Manual for the new Advanced Dungeons & Dragons coming out. Dungeons & Dragons base set, which is at this time is probably the Holmes base set. And that Holmes base set is actually a starter set for this edition of Dungeons & Dragons. You got Blackmoor, Greyhawk, Eldritch Wizardry, which is coming out next after this. Gods, Demigods, and Heroes. Sword and Spells, Chainmail, Dungeon Geomorphs, Outdoor Geomorphs, Monsters and Treasure Assortment booklet, Dungeon the board game, Warlocks and Warriors, a sighting game of adventure and pursuit for 2 to 6 players of all ages, Empire of the Petal Throne. That's actually a really hard one to come by. I think I've only come across 1 or 2 of them in sale that are on the hundreds of dollars, and they're missing parts. War of Wizards, Lankmar, Star Probe, Star Empires, Metamorphosis Alpha, multi-sided dice sets, percentile dice coming separate, and then you have the Dragon Magazine in subscription information with pricing, depending on whether you want single issue or multiple issues, and if you live overseas or within the United States. Overall, this is easily the second book that you definitely want to have for original Dungeons and Dragons. Just for the monk or for the monk and assassin information, the only note about this is that there's a lot of the middle stuff that is more simulationist in mechanics in the center of the book. That would be more in the territory of you might not want to use that as components because it makes the game a bit more fiddly, determining whether you have head shots or arm shots or something else like that. But other than that, that's really neat. If you happen to have a group that really is into finding out, hey, did I shoot him in the right leg or something like that? Or did I strike him in the left arm? That's awesome. But most of the time, most groups don't care for stuff like that. It's a very select few people. So there you go. This is a situation where it's definitely, because it also includes an adventure, and it's like the first published adventure in one of these supplements, that is also special in itself. You do get a good variety of creatures in here. However, they are more or less giant animal of something. You do have some classic creatures such as Sawagans and merfolk and I'm having a blank for 5 seconds here, and mind flyers and a few others. So that's really cool in itself. So if you want to get a little darker, Blackmoor is a really good choice in itself. But I would go for Greyhawk first before Blackmoor. So there you go. Probably give this like a 4-star in itself. But it's easily 3.75 stars on the slide. It's like second place to Greyhawk. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And see you next time. Ciao.